Hey everyone, before we dive into the episode, I want to give you a quick reminder to go enter our current giveaway for a free year subscription to Marvel Unlimited. It's over on our Instagram page, and you can find the link in the show notes for this episode. If you want to have access to over 30,000 digital comics from Marvel, where you can go and read your favorite stories, get caught up on the big events like Secret Wars, Secret Invasion, or even go back and read the Infinity Gauntlet comics, you can do so in the palm of your hand. So what are you waiting for? Go check out our Instagram, enter the giveaway, and hopefully you'll have your name pulled on January 1st. Welcome to another episode of Earth 894. We are so close to the end of the year with only a few more weeks before December is over, meaning we're going to be fully into 2023 with Phase 5 going into full swing with Ant-Man Quantumania coming up. We just got a new trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 that we are still not emotionally prepared for, plus a lot of great installments coming into the MCU. If this is your first time listening to Earth 894, we have a Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast where we dive into the multiverse to bring you every week what's going on with the movies, the rumors. We give you reviews on movies and TV shows. We get the cool interviews lined up. But for this week, we're going to be diving into a little bit of Phase 4, giving some rankings, and catching up, Louie and I, with talking about the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. So make sure if you like this episode, give us a review, give us a good rating. Spotify and Apple Podcasts, we love the 5-star ones the best. My name is Devin Stone, and I am so happy because we are actually doing an episode in person. I can literally look my esteemed, lovely, beautiful, handsome, mustache-wielding co-host in the eye 2 feet away from me. And it's going to be a great time. So it's going to be a good episode. We'll get a lot more banter going and everything, but you guys strap in and let us know what you think of your Phase 4 rankings at the end of the episode. So I get to say this. Louie Tonorini, how's it going, man?
Oh, man. I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm a little chilly because it is like, what, 15, 20 degrees in Chicago right now.
It's
But
fucking cold. It's cold.
it is cold.
I
It is cold.
hate how cold it is here.
Dude, same. Sometimes I wonder why we even live in the Midwest. But you know what?
Shout out to our boys on the Two Sides of the Story podcast. Live in Canada, where it's 20 degrees year round.
We love you, Tommy and Sean. Go check them out.
God, I hate how cold it is here. I wish you didn't say anything. It's making me sad.
I'm sorry. Well, hopefully we can warm you up with a little bit of holiday cheers and spirit because we watched the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, which, I got to say, surprisingly, kind of surpassed my expectations. I did not expect to like it as much as I did, but, James Gunn just killing it. I think 2022 is probably the year of Gunn, just across everything.
Okay.
Bold statement, fair to say?
No, I mean, between you and I don't think James Gunn has put out a bad thing that I've watched yet.
Right?
I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm a big James Gunn aficionado, like I know everything, but between both Guardians of the Galaxy movies, the Suicide Squad, and then Peacemaker and Holiday Special, all up there for me. I don't think there's anything that I would dislike or, I don't have a bad thing. I mean, obviously there's bad things to say about everything, but I like them more than I dislike them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Did you see Brightburn?
Nope.
Do you know what that is?
Nope.
So imagine it's rated R for good reason, but imagine if Clark Kent got sent down to Earth, right? And they pick him up, same thing, but he's actually bad, like super bad. Like whoever sent him is like pure evil and he just is on a path of destruction. James Gunn produced that movie with, I think, Sean Gunn too, a little bit. It's really good. It's dark. It gets gross, but it's got Michael Rooker in it and other stuff.
Sean Gunn.
Yeah.
We'll get to it when we get to the not the spoilers, but the predictions from the trailer. But I didn't even think of Sean Gunn. Kraglin.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but if you ever want to check it out, it is what it is. It's like a one and done for me, but Brightburn is pretty good.
Is it a cartoon?
No, it's live action.
And it's a Superman movie? Or is it's not actually Superman?
Right. It's just like take the origin of Superman, but make it like a what if he's evil, like super evil.
All
And
right.
it gets pretty fucked up. But it's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the first time I heard the Billie Eilish "Bad Guy" song
Oh,
because it was the end credits plays "Bad Guy," and it's so funny because like
banger, honestly. Banger.
yeah, it's just funny to hear that song after that movie ended because it's like doomsday level. But yeah, let's go back and talk about some cheery stuff too before I go into that. Um, Louis, every week we talk about what has been marvelous in our day to day life. Have we, as we go to usually, did we collect a new pop figure that's Marvel centric? Did we read a comic book? Are we still playing Marvel Snap, which I might call a new segment, the Marvel Snap Date? Weekend Snap Date at Earth 894. But what we like to do is just kind of catch up, talk about what we've been doing as a little bit of a way to warm up, and then kind of dive into the news and reviews and all that fun stuff. So this segment is called
MCU for you.
That's right. So Louis, what has been MCU for you?
It's been quite a long time since we've recorded, I feel.
Yeah, when was the last time we did something? Was it?
I feel like I had a full beard the last
Yeah,
time
that
we
was the
talked to each
Wakanda
other.
Forever review. Go check it out, guys.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, with Tommy. Shout out Tommy. Off the top of my head right now, I've watched Guardians of the Galaxy because I love that movie. I just got a brand new, just today, really, a Marvel Collector Core box
All right.
from Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Came with this dope old shirt with M'Baku, Nakia, Okoye, and Shuri.
Does it glow in the dark?
I don't know.
Because some of the green on there kind of looks like in the triangle.
Yeah.
It kind of gives that feeling,
That-
but I don't know.
I don't know. It's possible.
Looks good though.
And it also came with a Shuri sticker. She looks like Bad Bunny. An M'Baku pin of his face, and and two pops of Io and Shuri without her like in full Black Panther armor but no helmet. So now I've got two pins plus a Wolf Road pin. So I ordered a cork board today to hang up somewhere to put all my pins on.
Ah, nice. That's cool.
Christmas time coming. I've watched the holiday special 3 times. It's not as long as a movie. It's really not as long as a TV show. So it's just something nice to put on. I put it on when we put up the tree. Yada yada yada. I restarted Hawkeye.
Oh, nice.
You always said Hawkeye is going to be your Christmas time show.
Yep.
I restarted Hawkeye.
Heck yeah.
So I am pretty much in love with Haley Steinfeld at this point.
Who wouldn't be, right?
The problem is on Instagram, I went to go search something and there was a picture of her and, being a man, I clicked on it and now she's all over my I looked at one
It's the algorithm.
reel or whatever the hell it was. And now it's all I see. She's everywhere. Her and Haley Atwell all over my
It's the Haley's, man.
yeah. Oh, I didn't even think of that. New Spider-Man No Way Home Pops came out. There's an 8-pack Walmart exclusive. And I sent the link to my wife with the eye emoji, the
little peak.
So she ordered those for me. With the 3 Spider-Men. Doc Ock with the Iron Man arms, Norman, Sandman, Lizard, and Electro. But it's like that one split-second scene where the whole thing comes over his face. Yeah, the star over his face. So that will be coming around March. And then, because I am a slave to the industry, there's a boxed lunch exclusive Green Goblin from like the first movie where he's in the full armor. So I ordered that guy too.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. There's another one of Andrew where he's got the mask in his mouth when he first walks in. And I can want that one too. Fuck. How many Spider-Man pops do I need?
Yeah, I thought about that one too.
And there's some down here too. But I digress. Devin, what's been MCU for you, friend?
Boy, do I have a story to tell you.
Hell yeah, I love stories.
I'm gonna save the best for last because this is just hilarious. But I too actually tried to restart Hawkeye the other night because I was like, you know what, it's time. It's Tab. And plus, it's like just past I think it was a week ago, was the first episode anniversary of when it, first streamed or whatever. Which is wild. I think it's already been a year because that was pretty big. I mean, we finally got Vincent D'Onofrio back as uh, Kingpin. It was confirmed, like, oh my God, it's actually him, which means Charlie Cox is on his way and everything. And then we finally got him, No Way Home. So
Yeah, that was
big. It was a big
I
December.
think we saw the photo of D'Onofrio at the very end of the episode.
Yeah, on the phone.
Was Hawkeye still on Fridays?
Yeah, that was still Fridays.
So no. Was it Wednesday? Were they coming out on Wednesdays for a little bit there?
Actually, you're right, because once Loki had the success with Wednesday releases,
Yeah.
that's when all the shows like got moved to Wednesdays instead. You're
So we got the picture of D'Onofrio on Wednesday, and then we went and saw No Way Home on Friday.
Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday, the next day.
Yeah.
So we got D'Onofrio the Wednesday, and then Charlie Cox on Thursday. And I know I'm interrupting you. I'm gonna let you finish. I promise.
No, you're
but
good. You're good.
I did see a Funko Pop. It must have been a concept, but because I saw it on TikTok,
Mm.
and it was like Charlie Cox sitting from No Way Home, him sitting with the red glasses and everything else. Because there's that famous Matt Murdock pop that's impossible to get now. It's
Yeah.
$400. But now there's like a newer one, and that's what I'm so happy for, at least for my collection here, is that eventually I feel like we're gonna get the yellow and red Daredevil from She-Hulk and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, continue.
No, it's all good, man. You bring up a good point because that was like such a wild week, man. So good. I wish I could relive that.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, right? Aside from that though, like playing a lot of Marvel Snap, and then I decided to try and finally get back into like reading some comics again. But I haven't gone back to Secret Wars yet, which before the year is over, I will finish that because I literally started that in like January. I don't know why it took me that long to read like 12 issues. No idea. But I decided to actually start the first issue of Spider-Man 2099. Kind of get excited for Spider-Verse because that comes out in May next year. And there was like new photos, I guess, that came out of like the animation and everything of Miles and Gwen and all that. It just looks so cool. And I cannot wait for that movie. But this is my favorite thing. So I think at this point, it was shortly after Wakanda Forever came out, or is right around that time, but we just didn't talk about it or whatever reason. Someone took our podcast email address and created a fake dating profile on RussianCupid.com. And all of a sudden, like I was seeing in our inbox, all these like emails from like Russian Cupid. You know, you get like spam of like random shit like that all the time, right?
Yeah.
But they were coming like constantly saying, so, like, this guy like sent you a message. This guy liked you. Like all these guys like, hitting up our email, like our DMs almost, right? That I was like, okay, this feels too weird. Because they were coming in like every 2 minutes. Whoever they made this fake catfish profile, they were getting the guys. But it was like all just the kind of people you would expect. The Tinder crowd. This is the more adult, like older crowd. Yeah,
They looked like Alexei Shostakov.
kind of like these were, this is much older, more mature adults, to say the least. More awkward a bit, but like I was like, yo, what the hell is this? Like, how? But then I started thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? Let me see if I can log in. I somehow, no joke, it didn't ask me for a password. I clicked on one of the emails where it took me to like the inbox. It logged me in. So I have no idea what password they used or what. But I'm pretty sure I changed the password as soon as I got in just to be safe. And so I'm 100%. I'm in Russian Cupid right now as this person, and I'm like, who are we apparently being? And it was some woman, I forget her name, but it was literally just like random photos they stole of some woman who happens to be Russian, whatever. I'm looking at the interests, right? Like, okay, what are their interests? Like this kind of age range, this kind of body type, all that shit, right? So messages are coming in, right? Well, you have to have a paid whatever account to actually like see some of the messages, but some of the people had a paid account, so I could reply. So I started replying to some of the messages.
Oh my god!
Because they're asking.
Oh my
Because
god!
this person was actually like who stole and made the fake account was actually kind of replying a little bit and asking about like, you know, the kind of weird shit you would expect. So I start responding as like the same time. So I'm like, what's your favorite Marvel movie? I'm like asking like, they're like, oh, what you up to? I'm like, oh, I'm listening to my favorite podcast, Earth 894. I started promoting the podcast to these fucking people who they match with through the fake catfish on RussianCupid.com. So I started changing some of the interests on the dating profile, saying like, love Marvel, like favorite book. I put like Infinity Gauntlet. I put like loves listening to podcasts. I legit started pimping out this profile for our own benefits to kind of like counter troll the troll. But then before I started like really going into fun, I immediately was like, of course, like taking the appropriate route. Like, how do I report this? Because clearly this is terrible. So I was going through like the FAQ and the support and everything. And tell me why they had so many things about like, be careful of fraud. If this person if someone tries to message you on this website asking you to like meet up here or like send you plane tickets or like just random shit that I was like, oh my God, dating profile on the internet is terrible. But it's like literally like, make sure that they are not like an imposter. Be mindful of this, like stranger danger, right? But they had a thing like, why do you want to like contact support? Literally one of the options was like, someone used my email address for a fake profile.
Yeah.
That was literally one of the options. So I chose it. I sent it. I didn't expect them to even respond to me. I thought it was going to be some weird fishy site. But they replied within like 5 minutes and they said, oh, we're so sorry. We'll definitely terminate the account. And then I was like, wait, I kind of wanted to go back. Like, wait, never mind. Stop. It's okay. Because I wanted to keep trying to do this because there were so many, like this person had like 40 matches in an hour. It was insane. So I was like, I'm just going to keep going with it.
So we have to make a Tinder account for our podcast.
Apparently. But like before I could have more fun, it got shut down. It said 100% access denied and everything. I think I still have some of the emails and everything, but it was just like, I was laughing my ass off, man. I never would have thought someone would have stolen our fucking podcast account to do this. And now I'm saying this too. Someone's going to be like, oh,
Yeah.
you had fun the first time. Let me do it again. But yeah,
We ruined Brian's fun on RussianCupid.com.
like, oh my God. I can't even be like, I don't know. Should we be mad? Probably. Should we be concerned? Yeah. But also, this wasn't our personal email address. That'd be a different story. This is a brand, a podcast, whatever. But like, I kind of wanted to see like what that other person was actually thinking. Like, who logged in? Who hacked me? Right? Like, what the hell? Scam the scammer.
Yeah, somebody hacked my act account. That's messed up. I'm surprised that it was all in English.
Yeah, well, it's called like Russia Cupid or whatever, but it had a lot of people who were like UK, like all over like that area, a lot of different countries and stuff. So I guess that's why. But also could have just probably set my thing as English as like the default on the browser, and it probably translates automatically.
Oh,
I
I
could have done that.
didn't even think about that.
Yeah, because I think even the fake account wasn't actually said that they lived in Russia. I think they said they lived in like France or some shit. Talk about an MCU for you, right?
Yeah, that was pretty good. Wow.
I can't believe it.
You're out here trying to date Russian men. Good for you.
You can't say we're not dedicated to try and promote our podcast. And after that story, guys, you can see what we will do just to try and get someone to give us a listen, right? We'll take advantage of a good situation. So if you think we warrant a good review after that story, help us out. Give us 5 stars. Help us promote. You're on a dating profile. They ask you what your interests are, what you're doing. Plug Earth 894. And you know what? We will give you a shout out. We will tell them like, hey, you need to date this person because they are cool.
You sent me a few photos the other day. We had decent numbers on the Spotify Wrapped thing.
Yeah.
From what I could tell. But then again, all of our sister podcasts had just about the same things on theirs. I guess I don't really understand what most of this means. And of course, now that I bring the photos up, I'm only allowed to look at 2 of them.
I have it up here too. Like, for example, and this is all on our Instagram page. You can go check it out. But we will do a couple shout outs. I'm glad you brought this up. Our podcast was in the top 10% most shared globally on Spotify. That's pretty damn cool. Um, we were also, we added 3,000 minutes with 39 new episodes at the time of the release, whatever, for 2022, which is crazy. Um, we were listened to in over 13 countries just on that platform alone. So if you're one of the Russian Cupid people who you found out from a fake profile, we are sorry. That person was fake. And also probably try a different dating profile or platform. But this is pretty cool, dude. We're the top podcast for 11 fans. That means we were number one podcast that they actually listened to for the year.
Did you see anybody post about us being number one? I saw us on a few, but
I don't know if we saw number one.
I think we were number 2 on Mr. Marvel's.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. But we're also top 5 for 32 people, top 10 for 47, which, like, it might not sound like a lot of numbers, right? It's not like we're crazy, like 10,000 people, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, for us, just seeing that stuff, I don't know, but it makes me feel pretty damn cool.
Right.
That's good. So if you guys are, anyone's listening and, you didn't get a chance to tag us, or maybe you just don't use social media as much or anything, we would love to just hear from you. You could email us at our non-hacked email address, earth894 podcast@gmail.com. But there were a few people who were really awesome who actually gave us some tags saying like, yo, we were one of your top or whatever. So I'm going to try and pull that up again because I definitely want to give some credit where credit is due so we can tell you how much we love and appreciate you. But Louie, did you check out your Spotify Wrapped, like from the music side?
So I don't use Spotify. I use Apple Music, and I am such a dad. My number one song was "We Don't Talk About Bruno" from fucking Encanto.
Oh my God.
That was my number one album. My number one artist was the Encanto ensemble cast, whatever. And then my number one what was my number 2 was this artist. It's called Super Simple Songs, and it's Henry's like crack cocaine, and it's just like the songs that you'd think for little kids. 5 little ducks went out one day
Oh my God.
over the hills and far away. And then I had Baby Shark was up there, and yeah, and and then Running Up That Hill from Stranger Things was up there because Henry fucking loves that song. So, and then Hannah's was the same. I think Running Up That Hill was her number one song. And she's like, I don't listen to that song. But Henry's pretty good at going, Alexa, play Deal with God. And she goes, okay. Oh, no. Sorry. As soon as I said it, I was like, yeah, there's one behind me, isn't there? like an old Scooby-Doo. He's standing right behind me, isn't she?
It's Winks, man.
Jinkies.
Dude, that's funny. My Spotify Wrapped.
I saw it's all composers.
Yeah, because I like, my ADHD, I need to focus. So I need like instrumentals and stuff. So I listen to like lo-fi and movie soundtracks all the time. But yeah, my top 5 people, right, was like Michael Giacchino, Alan Silvestri, John Williams, Hans Zimmer, and then one actual band, Modern Baseball, who always seems to be in like my top 5 every year, which is it just cracks me up. But
I did see our good friend of the podcast, Alvin Silverstry, made your
as soon as I saw that, I was like, "Where's gonna see it?"
I did notice that immediately. Like, oh, fucking Alvin Silverstry.
Oh man. But on the topic of the top 5s and everything, so a few people who did give us some cool shout outs here. Of course, Brian, Mr. Marvel Minutes. We were his number 2 on Spotify. Thanks so much, man. And go and check out our episodes with him because they're always a good time and he predicts a lot of good stuff. Dan Fab's Metal, good old Dan Ocampo. We were number 4 on his top 5. So thanks so much, man, for sharing that. And then also Pixie Dust Sammy. So she is one of the co-hosts on the Team Unicorn podcast. They do a lot of cool like Disney coverage and stuff. So go check them out. But thanks so much for making us number 3 of your top 5. I also see number 4 was their fan club podcast, which is a cool time. We were on their episode covering
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right? Comes full circle.
Oh.
Go check that out. It was a really cool time. So thanks everyone for sharing that. And like I said, if you didn't share or maybe weren't thinking about it just yet, you should do it. We'll give you a shout out just like we did now. We don't care when it is. Even if it's the next year, we'll do it.
So I'm going to move us along here. Friday, I think it was day after Thanksgiving. I was outside putting up my Christmas lights with with my son. He was like, "Can we do a project?" That's his new favorite question. "Can we do a project?" I was like, "Sure, let's go put up
Mhm.
Christmas lights." So I was outside doing that. Finally, uh, my daughter had gone to bed. She's a monster.
Mhm.
So I was like, "Okay, let's put up the Christmas tree." It's like our tradition. Day after Thanksgiving, Christmas tree goes up. So I come inside. My lovely wife Hannah says, "Well, I'm just gonna go change around the laundry. I'll be right back." I said, "Okay." So I'm hanging out with Henry. She goes, "Something's leaking in here." I was like, "Oh my fucking God, no." And I walk downstairs and the laundry room is underwater.
Ooh.
Not the whole thing, but enough to where I knew it was the sump. And it was smelly. And I walked into the sump pump room where I just got Devin's chair from. And that was completely underwater. I was like, there it is. There we are.
Mhm.
And so long story short, I got the water out. Took me forever. And then my cousin and my uncle, who are notorious handymen, came over. My uncle was visiting from Texas for Thanksgiving, and now he's doing work at my house. They came over, they looked, they were like, "Yeah, this is all fine." We went to Menards day after Thanksgiving. Luckily, there was
Mhm.
Menards. Home Depot. Think Home Depot if you're not from the good old Midwest. Um, we went to the hardware store. I bought a new sump pump, and they came back, they installed it and everything. Fine. Later on, we all went to my mom's house and they were there too. And I was sitting there, I was talking to my cousin about the show and everything. And I got a text message from Dan. I have to read it because I was so taken aback. Like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? I had I thought he was drunk. It said, IDK, what Christmas is a certified banger or something. I was like, "What the fuck does this mean?" And I read it like 3 times, and
Mm.
it was like you were talking to your friend, so it wasn't perfect grammar or anything, and I was like,
Yeah.
so I Googled IDK what Christmas is, and it said, "Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas Special." I said, I haven't watched that yet." And I was like, "Okay." So then I messaged him back. "Yeah, I haven't been able to sit down and watch it just yet." And he's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. I only watched the first, like, 10 minutes, but my daughter kept dancing, so we had to turn it off." That seems like all the reason to keep it on. But day after Thanksgiving at my mom's house stuff, we came home, put the kids down, and my wife and I watched it for the first time in our bed at, like, 9 o'clock at night. And that morning, you had texted me that it was great and that you thought Henry would love it. Honestly, you don't know Henry very well. He did not. But it was fine. I loved it. Hannah loved it. The ending made us both tear up a little bit, for different reasons, I've learned, because I was like, "Yeah, blah, blah, blah." She's like, "Oh, I didn't even think about that." But yeah, that was my first experience. I'm sure you watched it at 4 o'clock in the morning, as you do.
Almost did, but watched it like a reasonable time in the morning. It was like probably like 7. That came out the day after Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah, that Friday.
Right. Yeah. So I actually watched it at like probably like 9 a.m. because of the day off. That's right.
Yeah. You just said it was lots of fun and you thought Henry would enjoy it. I think the only parts that Henry would have enjoyed were the very beginning and the very end when they were cartoons,
Mhm.
because Henry does not like real life people unless you're Miss Rachel. And I don't expect you to know who Miss Rachel is, but she's another one on
Mm.
YouTube who like talks to babies and sings songs. She'd be like, "Do you know what to do with a spoon? Eat. You eat with a spoon. Yay!" And then she claps, and then my kids are just like,
Do use it to eat.
and I know you can't see me, people listening, but just imagine Bug Eyes mouth agape, staring into the abyss of just Miss Rachel singing "Sticky Icky 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 Bubble Gum." Sticky, 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 sticky bubble gum.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Today my kids were fighting like hell. I turned it on and then they both just into the abyss. But I digress. I pointed out Drax. Henry loves Drax. I said, "You know who that is?" And the Drax that he's seen is he's like a
Yeah.
green color with the deep red stuff. Also a cartoon. And so he sees Dave Batista standing there. He goes, "Is that Pappy?" Which is my dad. And I said, "Because he's bald?" That's the only thing that could get you to that fucking conclusion, kid.
Yeah.
Because Dave Bautista is 6'4",
Uh,
300 pounds of just muscle, and he's fucking gray, dude. Where did you get, like, what are you doing?
mhm.
I said, you know who that is? And I pointed at Mantis. No clue. Because Mantis isn't in the Guardians of the Galaxy books that we read. But it was pretty funny. So that was Henry's response to Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special.
That's pretty cool, man. And I think that's actually a good starting point for us to go into the good old holiday special because kind of paint the picture here. I mean, you said you watched it, got to watch it like 9 o'clock at night, very comfy and all that fun stuff. But did you kind of know much about the special at all going into it? Like, did you see any trailers or anything like that kind of sway you?
Literally nothing.
Nice. I think it's also like probably the thing I saw the least amount of. I knew there was a trailer and I think I avoided it. I just knew, of course, like Kevin Bacon was in it. It was live action, all that.
Didn't even know that.
Wow. Wow. What do you think of Mr. Bacon in the MCU?
I thought that he, like, if you're not going to bring Kevin Bacon in as a character, I thought that was like the perfect role for him to do.
Mhm.
The only actor that I think would have been better would have been Hasselhoff.
Oh, that would
But
have been funny.
he's a little crazy. And also, he was in Guardians 2 for,
Yeah.
2 seconds.
Credits and stuff. Yeah.
And he's, he sings the song and everything. But I think, like, Peter's big thing is Footloose, and he loves Kevin Bacon. Like I explained to my mother-in-law the whole Infinity War thing where he sees Spider-Man and he says, "Is Footloose still the greatest movie of all time?" Peter's like, "It never was." And he just gave him that look.
Yeah. Like, how dare you?
Yeah.
I don't like you.
Yeah. So Kevin Bacon, I think, was a good choice. The only one that I think would have been better was Hasselhoff, but I can see why they went with it.
Right. It seemed like he had a fun time too. Also, he was very chill for just seeing a mantis looking alien person at his door with like the ring doorbell he had with the camera and shit. Like, and go away. Like, there are two people on your fucking property, dude.
Well, at the first one was them.
At the gate.
Yeah, I got a gated house, and then they jumped. Well, Drax jumped. Mantis was thrown.
Yeah.
And then he was like freaking out when they were at the door. And then when they got in, he pushed over his Christmas tree and he was running like hell. And that's when Drax got his funny little man. And I refuse to call it an elf as long as Drax is involved. It's a funny little man.
Little man. And the pop figure too. Like, I remember seeing at my local FYE, they had the holiday Guardian pops out and stuff. And I saw the Drax at the elf, but I didn't really think of it. But now that I've like seen the special, he's holding the funny little man, she's holding the candy cane, and now it makes it even like how much better.
Yeah.
And I understand the reference.
In the pops, Groot has the antlers on.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the other character that Henry recognizes is Groot. He's like, "Oh, Groot's a reindeer. Groot's a reindeer." And then Rocket's just holding something. It's not Bucky's arm. So
Does he have the present?
he might have a present, but I thought Quill had a present.
Oh, maybe Rocket is holding the long present box, which makes sense because he's holding Bucky's arm unwrapped.
Well, now I have to look it up.
Yeah.
But Quill's got a Santa hat on.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, he doesn't wear a Santa hat
Yeah, he doesn't, does he?
in the special. That was one thing that kind of brought me down, was for obvious reasons, but Quill seemed very sad
Mm-hmm.
through the whole thing,
Right.
which I'm so used to Quill being like happy and fun and funny, and that's not what I want.
You bring up a good point too, because like last time we saw him was in like Love and Thunder, and he didn't even seem like he's like his happy, quirky self. He seems more kind of like he'll make quips in here and there, but he definitely seems like he's carrying a lot of like stress on him. Especially now trying to be more of like true Guardians of the Galaxy. In this whole special, we see the whole thing like pretty big moments. Like they now bought and own Nowhere from the Collector, who also is now confirmed to be alive. But like, I think a lot of what's going on with Quill is that he definitely is like stressed and a little bit more serious. I think that's going to probably carry a lot into Guardians 3. We're seeing him like not himself, just because he has so much to kind of mature and take care of now with responsibilities. So it was kind of interesting to see that.
And they took the The 5-pack off Amazon. I don't see it.
Mm.
And of course, the one single one that I can't find is Groot. But or not Groot, Rocket. But Groot is holding a long box.
Oh, Groot's got the long box. Gotcha.
And another thing, I'm sorry, we're going into this deep dive of Funko Pops, but Drax is even wearing the sweater of the cat with the laser eyes that he wears
Oh
in the
my
holiday
God.
special.
That's even better. Talk about detail.
You had said forever ago that this holiday special is supposed to lead
Mm-hmm.
right into Guardians 3. It's supposed to be like a big thing. I can only think of two things from this special that are really going to be important would be the purchase of Nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that might be a big deal. And then the fact that Quill's got brothers and sisters around now. You know, the fact that Mantis is his sister might be something, but probably not. But I think it would be more of a big deal that like Ego was doing this thing all over the place. And he might have a brother at another planet or a sister at a different planet or here or there or this or that. And I'll be honest, I've seen the picture of Adam Warlock a few times from the trailer
Yeah.
and just trying to, you know, I scroll like everybody else, and I just kept thinking it was
Oh,
Homelander.
really? Because of the hair and everything?
I just would scroll and I'd be like, oh, Homelander, and I just keep going, and then finally I like stopped for a second, and it's clearly
"Wait
not
a minute."
Homelander, but you just like this guy is not even he's gold. I don't like maybe there's something fucky with Adam Warlock. I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know, but I feel like they're going to give him more siblings, more family, more something.
You know, that's interesting because like I haven't thought about it. Like, could there actually be other siblings still alive, other than Mantis and him? Because you know we saw that like bone collection of all the ones he's taken and consumed and whatever. Um, but you know that guy literally was planting his seed on all over the place. So there's probably got to be some out there who, even if it's just a handful, that don't even know who he never even contacted, whatever. So that is kind of curious, kind of interesting to see what that could be.
I just feel like the rest of the special, you know, going to Earth, getting
Yeah.
wasted, hanging out with Kevin Bacon, and I just don't think that's going to be that important for Guardians 3.
No.
So
Right.
the two biggest takeaways that I got were those. What did you think of the whole Yondu? They brought Yondu back, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, Michael Rooker would do anything for James Gunn. I'm starting to learn. He was just, you know, in animated form when they were kids, and he just hates Christmas so much, and
Yeah.
he's just angry Ravager man. And I pointed out to Hannah, you know, spoilers obviously for the holiday special. We'll watch it, you know, but I pointed out to her at the end, he gets that knick-knack, and I said, yeah, in the first movie and even in the second movie, he's got like the knick-knack collection on his.
Yeah. It's all.
So that's like his first little knick-knack, you know, that starts his collection. And she's like, oh, I didn't even realize
Yeah.
that. I said, yeah, that's why it was like so deep. And then he got Quill his first blasters, which he's always using those blasters.
Mhm.
And so it's like setting up for later on in their lives and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's so sweet. You know, she
Mhm.
just was taken back by the fact that it was like a holiday nice thing and everything. But
Mhm.
poor Kraglin. You should know better, Kraglin.
It's like, what, man? It's for real. But
Sorry, Captain.
Kragen's always so cool. I love Sean Gunn.
Captain?
But yeah, man, it was cool. Like this, that was my biggest surprise is that James Gunn did so well with actually doing more character building in like a limited time that didn't feel forced. It was actually like going back and just seeing like little moments and explains a little bit more about the relationship between Quill and um, uh, Yondu and everything. So that was really cool. But also the fact that Mantis is his sister, I don't know why I never really even like. I mean, they kind of hint at it a little bit in Guardians 2, because you can even see when he's going through like, here's a history of how I fuck everyone in the world or galaxy. You see, there's even like the same species that Mantis is. You see one of those fake like couples of him and whatever. You see like her, but it's like in the top left corner. You can see it, but it's like, oh shit, like I didn't even think about it. Because in the comics and everything, historically they're not
New
siblings.
stuff.
So
Yeah.
this is a like one of the first spin-offs on that. Yeah, which I kind of like. It's kind of cool to see like, he actually has a sibling and they're not alone. And
If you want it to be exactly like the comic books, read the comic books.
yeah.
Like
Hmm.
it's meant to be twisted a little bit. Obviously, I don't like it when they do crazy shit and give people different powers or stuff like that. But as far as stories go, give us different stories. That's fine. I'm not, you know, cast
Hmm.
whoever you want to be whoever you want. I don't care about that. But don't give me Wolverine with fucking wings or something. Be like, no, he's got wings now. Be like, that's not right.
Or he's not adamantium.
Yeah.
He's like vibranium.
Even that would be that
Borderline.
would probably piss me off. But
Yeah.
I can see why they would do it, but I would be like, come on. We all know it's it. James Gunn has been on record saying that he wanted to do like a Drax and Mantis movie. I feel like this is the closest he's gonna get. I didn't when I heard there was gonna be a holiday special, I didn't know it was gonna be like a Drax and Mantis special.
Yeah, they did pretty good at taking the lead on this.
Like very little to no Rocket,
Mhm.
very little to no Nebula. I say to no as if there was no. It's just very little.
Yeah.
Very little Rocket, very little Nebula, very little Groot. A little more Star-Lord, but not a ton.
Mhm.
It was like the Mantis and Drax show,
Mhm.
which I liked, but I also was like, I expected it to be a Guardians thing, and
Like that was the
yeah,
whole team kind of doing. Yeah.
but
That's
it
fair.
was fine. What did you think of the song? I don't know what Christmas is.
I didn't mind it because like one thing that I love is Gunn is just so good at his music choices, especially with like why is he choosing this song in particular for things? It always has like a good meaning and it's wild how much it goes into things. Um but I've heard some criticism talking about like, oh, it seems so weird and cheesy. It's like I heard someone just like criticize those aliens saying it looked like a bunch of cosplaying aliens at a convention. They didn't feel like they were in universe. I don't really think that. I don't think it's a big deal. Um, but I did like Quill's just kind of like commentating when they were playing. He's like, "What? Like you literally just got those instruments today or whatever?" And you're like, playing
Yeah.
it. Like I thought it was funny because it's like, yeah, this is kind of absurd. So he's calling it out, and a cool little thing. So we just started using the new social media platform called Hive, which is pretty cool, guys. A lot of people are ditching Twitter for obvious reasons. We never had a Twitter, but we're checking out Hive. But I got to see when I was looking at like the day the special came out, I'm looking at like the hashtag and the post and all that fun stuff on Hive. And there were some people who were actually extras on the set, like in the crowd and everything on Nowhere. And even one of the guys, I think, who was like close up and got some cool shots, were like posting about like, hey, like the holiday special dropped and this was me in it. And this is like photos of me on set behind the scenes. And like that, you don't usually see right away on like Instagram and like the very overpopulated, saturated platforms. So like on Hive, small user base, like right away seeing these people and I might try and reach out, see if we can get them on the podcast. But that made it really cool for me because I'm like seeing these people like, oh my God, it was so much fun. This is me. Like, check it out. So I don't really see there was like a bad thing about the band, the people, like literally the Nowhere folks. But it was a good time. Good time.
So on December 10th, when you guys are playing, you guys aren't going to be like, rain, 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 dear, 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 dear.
And then was it the elves will rise up and kill Santa? Or like just like the lyrics were so twisted. It was so fun.
What? No.
But it makes sense because like you gotta think like the only way they know anything about Santa is through Quill, right? And so he told Kraglin, who Kraglin told like someone else, told Nebula and told Rocket. And Rocket is always making things sound violent, right? So if he told them about Christmas, it makes sense like, well, they got the lyrics and shit, but it's just like so funny, like a bad game of telephone. Makes it
Exactly.
sound
A
like,
bad game of telephone.
yeah.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Do you ever were you ever a Futurama fan?
Yeah.
Did you watch their Santa Claus episode where he's like the robot Santa and like the elves are like malnourished and like slaves pretty much, and he like basically goes to planets and like kills people.
I can't say that I have.
It's a weird episode, but it's basically just like that. Like their song kind of described that kind of Santa Claus.
It's funny you bring that up. Have I ever told you about my Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 just being a long episode of Futurama?
I don't know.
So, we're going on a little adventure here.
Strap in.
Have you ever seen the Futurama where Leela meets another Cyclops?
Yeah.
And he's like a guy and he's just trying to, they get married, or they're going to get married immediately and start having babies and repopulating the Cyclops. And then it turns out that this guy's like a shapeshifter.
Yeah. That's right.
He's actually been banging people all over the place and having their babies.
I see where this is going.
It's the exact same thing as Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It's almost like, other than Ego being like a big, powerful god, and this guy just being a grimy shapeshifter, it's like the exact same plot.
Yeah. Damn.
Oh, yeah. I think about it every time I watch the show. Because, like, they show that one scene where it's Ego with the different women from the different I don't want to say races, but species, or however you want to say it. And then they show like almost that exact same scene in that episode of Futurama where the guy's like, "Oh, I've been with this creepy thing and this guy and her and him and stuff like that." It's just funny you brought up Futurama.
It's funny now that I'm like looking up, I'm like trying to see like, is James Gunn a big Futurama fan, I'm seeing articles here and there, just random things, but there's one from joe.ie.com. Never heard of it. The title here, the headline is, "Did you notice these massive similarities between Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and a classic episode of Futurama?" There you go, man.
It's not my website, but I definitely thought about that every time I've seen the movie.
Futurama, a Cyclops for 2. Damn, dude.
Watch the episode one day just for shits and giggles, and you'll be like, "Oh yeah."
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm looking at stills and it shows him like almost like a Greek pantheon, like Babylon type of like civilization. He's showing posters or like a artwork of like Leela and a clam naked, like that classic, I don't know, artwork and shit. Damn, dude, this is legit. So much of it. Wow. That's funny.
I can't believe I've never brought that up to you.
You just blew my mind a bit. I never knew about that.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. That is cool. That is very cool.
If Hannah was sitting down here, she'd just be shaking her head at me. We get it. Because I say it all the time. I don't know what Christmas is. I can't remember how the Kevin Bacon song went.
Oh, the last one? It's like, everyone just wants to get like cuddled and like.
Yeah.
Everyone just sticking in. I like that song actually a lot.
Marvel's been doing a great job at fixing my gripes as they happen.
Explain.
I can't remember the last time, but I remember being like, in what world? And then they're just like, "Oh, by the way, this is blah, blah, blah." I was like, "Oh, they fucking answered it right there."
Like,
And they did that again on the holiday special because Craglin's sitting there with Kevin Bacon. And then his phone rings. Immediately, I look at Hannah and I go, "You got to be fucking kidding me." His phone's ringing all the way in space. And then he goes, "How is my phone ringing right now?" Craglin's like, "Oh, we got really good satellites. They just work." I was like, well, goddamn, there it is. They answered it. It just made me laugh. I was like, get the fuck out of here. Another thing that I noticed while it's fresh in my brain was the lady with the cool fanny pack sold Drax and Mantis that map of the stars. Were you able to get a still of the stars that were on there?
I know a couple off my head, but
was it just the people from the Suicide Squad?
There was, of course.
I saw John Cena.
There's John Cena. There's Margot Robbie. I think there was 2 more people.
Was Idris Elba on there? Like, I feel like it was just people from the Suicide Squad, and James Gunn's a fucking genius. Like, I was like, "Oh, this is John Cena," and then I thought I saw Margot Robbie, and I was like, "Oh my fucking god, that's hilarious."
I feel like Viola Davis was on there.
It's possible.
Yeah, I forget, but it was definitely as soon as I saw Margot and then I saw John Cena, I was like,
John Cena's the first one I noticed. I was like,
Yeah.
dude, this is the people from the Suicide Squad. That's hilarious.
You know what I kind of got a kick out of? If one of the people on that map too was like Kevin Feige.
Oh, that would have been funny.
Because like that's a super tiny cameo. Literally, like they go and knock on Grandpa Feige, and then
That would have been the perfect spot to put Stan Lee. God rest his
so
soul.
good. Damn, I didn't even think about
Yeah,
that.
throw Stan Lee on the thing.
That'd have been so good.
I was like, yeah, I remember because I was like, oh fuck, I wish I would have paused that. And I was like, oh, just rewind it. I was like, it's fine. I want to finish. Yeah, I want to watch
and then go back. Yeah.
Listen to Kevin Bacon sing and everything. But the best was like Groot. We'll get to Groot. Groot rolls him out, and the box opens. He goes, "What did you do?" I'm like, "We got you, Kevin Bacon. You can't get someone a person." And then Groot's like, "Yeah,
it's human trafficking."
Says, I'm Groot. And he goes, "What do you mean you didn't know about it? You rolled him out here."
It's like, real quick. So I got a picture of the map. So Margot Robbie, John Cena, Queen Latifah, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then I can't tell who this person on the bottom is. Who do you think that is?
Don't know.
I have no idea.
Don't know. You're gonna have to post that on our Instagram and ask for help.
I feel like it has to be someone from the '90s or something.
Whoever names them all gets a.
I'll look it
stickers.
up real fast, but
I don't know. That's the other point of contention is Groot. You're looking it up. I'm just gonna talk here. Groot looks so fucking weird in this movie, and I think it would have been fine.
Yeah.
Had Avengers: Infinity War and Endgame not come out in between Guardians 2 and the holiday special. I have not seen what Groot looks like in the Guardians 3 trailer, but in Guardians 2, he was a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And now in this holiday special, he looks like that baby, but like swole. Tall and swole. But in between, he was like skinny teenager Groot. And I think a weird thing that shouldn't bother me as much is that his head and face were thin and tall. And now he's back to short, chubby baby face again.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if like the Russo brothers got to pick how they wanted Groot to look versus James Gunn's picking how he wants Groot to look. But this looks more of the James Gunn type Groot versus the Groot that we got in the Avengers movie. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does make sense because also I was like, because even like people asked, of course, like what phase of this, right? Or they even asked, I think, a little bit about like what will we expect with Groot in Guardians 3, and he kind of explained it. But real quick, so we could put the map to bed. So yeah, why do we see Queen Latifah? No connection to Gunn, but she did work with Kevin Bacon in Beauty Shop. If you remember that movie.
Nope.
Yep. It was remember Barbershop with Ice Cube?
Yeah.
It was a spinoff, Beauty Shop.
Okay.
Then of course John Cena, we know why. Then Schwarzenegger. What's connection? Chris Pratt is married to Catherine Schwarzenegger in 2019. So that is technically Chris Pratt's father-in-law.
I did know that.
So I forgot about that connection. But that other person we're trying to figure out who was, it's Mark Paul Gosselaar. He's the photo they use is a throwback compared to the others because it's from Franklin and Bash alum, worked with Dave Bautista in 2015's movie Heist. So basically, yeah, it's just some guy from, whatever, Saved by the Bell and worked with Bautista.
Okay.
So there you go.
Margot Robbie's on there because of
Harley Quinn.
Yeah, that's the only reason. But the first guy I saw was John Cena. And then I thought I saw Margot Robbie. And I was just like, those are the people from the Suicide Squad that James Gunn directed. He just threw those guys in there. That's hilarious.
So before we keep talking about the Groot, though, do you want me to spoil how Groot looks in Guardians 3?
Sure.
He literally looks the exact same.
As the Guardians special?
Yeah. So it's nothing crazy. Because I imagine these probably take place relatively close.
That's what I figured.
Maybe slightly more buff, but he still has the exact same head shape. So it is what it is. But Gunn was talking about it on the Twitter thing.
That head.
Yeah.
But just on a big body.
Gunn was saying that Groot is a little bit different. We see him different but he said he's not as much like his father, which isn't technically this Groot the son of Groot from Guardians 1?
Yes. I think that's the technical thing that's happened. It's not like a rebirth. It's the Groot that I love from Guardians of the Galaxy is dead. And this Groot is his son.
Yeah. So I think that's why he looks different, which I'm okay with.
That being said, the Groot from Infinity War and the Groot from the holiday special are the same Groot, but they look so very different.
Yeah.
Which is weird to say when you're talking about a tree alien, but it's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like you recast a tree alien. It's not like you're going from Terrence Howard to Don Cheadle.
Yeah.
And just be like, deal with it. Yeah, that's fine. But this is like
a tree.
You animated him to look like this, and now you're animating him to look like this. What happened here? I don't truly care, but
also maybe it was mentioned, I don't know. How old is actually the 15 group or 2014, whenever first Guardians came out? How old was he in that incarnation of Groot? Who knows?
Yeah, no, I would assume thousands of years old. I thought they said, but I could be wrong.
So he could always grow. He could always grow into him. And is that 1,000 years? How many times he's been just Groot as a Groot as a Groot?
How many times has he had his arm chopped off and then grown back and stuff like that?
Is that technically his son's arm, and then every time he loses the arm and comes back again, is it a different son?
The Groot that we have now lost an arm when he made Stormbreaker.
Mm-hmm. If the arms the arms and legs and everything are always cut off but come back, is it the same ship with Theseus? I don't know. Now that would be a conversation. Vision and Groot. I would love to watch that. Probably boring as hell.
Absolutely.
Make no sense.
That's a podcast. Vision being all high and mighty and Groot just going,
how do you work?
I'm Groot.
But yeah, so we'll see. But one of the things I love too is like when they do the whole present exchange. Did you notice that the presents that Groot gives everyone is literally the retelling of the holiday special?
Yes and no. My thing was I saw Mantis. I think Mantis got her. No. Excuse me. Drax got him flipping a car, which happened in the holiday special. But my favorite was Kraglin's gift of Kraglin opening the gift of Kraglin opening the gift. And it was all the same. And then like he had a bow on his fin. And then his diagram had the bow on the fin. And then the little present, was the bow on the fin. And then he was doing the same smile over and over again. That made me laugh a lot.
That was funny
because
as hell.
I paused it a couple times to look at those gifts too. And Kraglin's was the one I was like, oh. But I didn't notice the other ones. But I did notice Drax flipping the car and Kraglin.
Yeah. I don't remember the others off the top of my head. I mean, they're just the events as they unfolded, but I just thought that was so funny. Like, how did you have time to make this? You probably just thought it, grew it, gave it away. So I got a kick out of that. Did you notice too that, and we'll get to the whole arm thing in a second, but you know that one SNL song, the Christmas Today or whatever, the din 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 din.
I can't say that I do.
I just had it up here in a little list. But it's that classic like SNL skit with like Horatio Sands. Who else? I forget, but basically
Jimmy Fallon probably. If
Jimmy
Horatio
Fallon.
Sands is in it, I can only assume Jimmy Fallon's there.
Chris, you're right.
Kattan, he was always with those two guys too.
And then Tracy Morgan. I wish it was Christmas Today. This special, this little song.
Yeah, not off the top of my head. Did I name all the guys though?
I think you did.
Look at me.
Yeah. But they did a cover of it towards the end of the special, which was funny. You don't even catch it unless you actually like look it up. But I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah.
James Gunn ain't fucking around. I think he's gonna do big shit for DC. We were just talking about that.
Dude, he really is. I mean, well, also we got Batman references in this.
I thought I remembered a Batman reference.
Yeah,
who said that?
It's Kevin Bacon because Mantis. They found out he's an actor. They thought he actually did all those things, like, which is funny. And also, he was in an X-Men movie. So how does that work? If they're referencing all of his filmography, yeah, he's an X2.
Was he just a government guy?
Yeah, I forget. It's not a major role, but like, you know, if you're going to talk about all his movies, he was in a mutant movie.
Yeah, that would be a Brian question.
That's a conundrum, paradox. But yeah, she's like, no, pretend to be someone else. And he goes like, I'm Batman. And there's like, it was just so funny, especially with like
See,
his,
I thought there was a Batman reference, but I couldn't remember for sure.
and wasn't Eternals, we got a Superman reference?
I think so
Yeah.
because of Icarus being a Superman.
Mm,
What's the word I'm
yeah.
looking for here? Superman copycat, for lack of the word that I actually want. Rip off.
Rip off.
Superman rip off. Fuck, that was pissing me off. Yeah.
So DC is canon.
I mean, DC, their top 3 to 5 guys are just legendary.
Yeah.
Marvel, their number 1 guy is always going to be Spider-Man. But DC, between, I would say the big 3, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, those are
Right.
like, obviously everyone knows who Batman is. Everyone knows who Superman is.
Mhm.
Everyone knows who Spider-Man is. And then Wonder Woman's a little bit below that with like the Hulk and
Mhm.
Wolverine. Like,
There you go.
I had to say it. So I think it's funny that they meant, like, they're no slouch. They're not pretending that Batman's not a real thing. Like, I think that's cool. And with James Gunn being the vice president of talent relations or whatever the fuck he is. I know that's not what he is, but
Coach,
yeah,
chairman, president, director.
he's a whole thing over there now. I think it'll be cool.
Mhm.
What was the other one he wanted to do? Like a Groot and Harley Quinn movie or some shit.
Jeez.
He wants to do some weird shit.
You know,
He's a weirdo.
speaking of weird shit too. So Santa is Marvel Comics canon. He is a character in the comics. And he's supposed to be like one of the most like, you know, powerful beings because he's Santa. That's the one thing I was really surprised because I think